Are you a fan of audiobooks? When I was younger, I used to read all the time. I used to have 5 or 6 books lined up to be read, and I was really a passionate reader. But as I got older, things happened. Life took over, and I was always doing too many other things to focus on reading a book. But I discovered audiobooks, and it opened up a whole new world for me. And I want to talk to you today about how you can incorporate audiobooks into your life so that you can keep up with your reading and also with all the other wonderful things that you're doing in your life in your 60s. My name is Margaret Manning. I'm with 60 and Me, and I want to thank you for coming here today and joining us for this conversation on books, audiobooks, one of the passions of many women in our community. Now, our show is brought to you today by Easy Spirit. Easy Spirit is a shoe company that has been making fashionable and comfortable shoes for many years. They've got a whole new line of beautiful fashion boots, athletic shoes, and in all widths and sizes. Really great value. And if you were interested in checking out their products on easyspirit.com, you can also go to the bottom of this article, and in the description, you'll find a promo code for a 20% discount off of the purchase of Easy Spirit shoes. So let's talk about reading. I know whenever we ask the question of our 60andMe community, we always get a whole list of books that women are reading. And I'm just so passionate about, making it possible, if you're busy, to keep doing that. Now, I've got many books lined up that I'm reading on audiobooks. And also, I like a book by my bedside too. And I've got some really good suggestions, basically from an article by Anne-Marie Mersham, who is also a passionate reader. And she says it's her best friend, besides her real best friends, and talks about how she has to sort of choose sometimes between making time for reading and making time for other things. And that's the whole thing. You want to spend, as much time as you can with people. That's the primary, interest when you get older. And it's good for your health and well-being to have people to talk to about books and other things, but also you need time by yourself to read, and you can incorporate this into the things that you do every day. Now, I actually use public transport a lot, and I also ride on trains. So this is a perfect opportunity because I don't know about you, but I'm one of these people that I don't like reading. Like my eyes don't work on trains when I'm reading. The motion makes me feel giddy. So I don't read books on trains or magazines. I can for a short time or look at my phone. But if I'm listening to a book, I prefer to listen with my headphones on and listen to an audiobook. And of course, public transport is a great way to pass the time. Sometimes if you're stuck in traffic, it's a really good way. So those are things that I do just as a matter of course. But the way that Anne talks about this is blending what you're reading with your friendships. And for example, she walks every day. She meets some friends for walks, but she gets to their houses, but of course, by herself, and pops her headphones on, listens to her audiobook. And then when she gets to meet up with her friends, the audiobook, of course, gets shut off, and everybody walks and talks and is a social gathering. So that's the nice way that she blends walking with friends, getting those 10,000 steps every day, and also reading a book and absorbing yourself in a title that you really enjoy. Also, she says, like me, thank you, Anne, I'm in this category with you. I don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I'm not a big cook. Things like, soup and things that I can make really fast. Those are my standby meals. But if you cook and you're waiting for things to happen and timing and, certain parts of the cooking process, audiobooks are great. Just pop your headphones on and you can do your cooking, mixing, chopping, whatever you have to do, and enjoy a book at the same time. So kitchens are great places. Now, the other thing, actually, I was going to say about cooking and doing two things. I used to love audiobooks when I would sit down with my computer. If I was doing something that was kind of a little mindless or something I could do while I was listening, and I could find, if something came up in the book that was interesting, like a reference to something, I could just stop what I was doing, pause the audiobook, and then go check it out. So my computer became part of the conversation with my audiobook. And that was really, really helpful with reading some books. I love reading books on mythology and Joseph Campbell. And he's always talking about something that that sounds so fascinating that I don't know anything about. So I stop the audiobook and then I go check it out and then come back. So that's another way to not really multitask, but multi-do things. So the other thing that she talks about is in the garden. If you're out there gardening, perfect place to listen to your audiobooks. And she says even when in the winter, when it's snowing, she'll shovel her snow while she's listening to something. And we're not the only ones doing this. Look around the number of people that have their little Bluetooth connectors on their ears these days. I mean, they're listening to music, perhaps maybe a younger generation or even older women. We love music too, but it's perfect for books. So shoveling snow, raking the leaves, anything in the garden. Another thing that Anne says she doesn't do too often, and I'm kind of with her, is cleaning the house, vacuuming or dusting or polishing. And I do that kind of once a week, a real good clean. But, she says, while she's doing it, why not listen to a book? She's been wanting to read that book. She can get through 50 pages while she's doing this, moving around, being practical and useful in the house. So that's another thing. Another, of course, is when you're on the road trips. She said that she went on a road trip with her husband and they went through 6 audiobooks. It was a long trip, of course, but they are still talking to each other, she said. Because sometimes when you're sitting there in the car, well, I remember it from my days with my car, you don't have conversations, you have conversations or chit chat, but you don't actually listen to a book. And sometimes you can have what do we want to talk about here? Let's be entertained. So you turn the music on, but why not listen to a book? And that's one thing that she does with her husband and also with her friend. And she talks about her friend, is basically they meant to listen to a book, but they ended up talking the whole time. So 20 hours of books became 20 hours of talking. That can happen. But that's, in her opinion, the priority. So quick idea about where you can get your books, audiobooks, and also what you'll need. Most of you probably know this, but you'll need an iPhone or some kind of a smartphone. And you can also use your iPad. And you've got services like audible.com, which is part of Amazon. So that's easy to go. The good thing about that is you buy the book. So you download it to your phone or to your iPad, and then you can listen to it wherever and whenever. You just keep switching on and off. There's some other options. I think audiobooks.com is another one. I think that's also a subscription. And also Anne mentions that you can go to your public library and you can also download things there, but you have to download them, I think, to your computer, and then you download them to your phone. There's a 2-step process. There's also a free app in most of the United States libraries now called Libby. Libby, Libby. And it's got free software called Overdrive. And this is apparently you can check out books virtually. I mean, you can check them out and listen to them online, like an audiobook, just like you're checking it out from the library. It's called Libby. It's not available in Europe that I know of or anything like it. But if you know of something, let me know. But she says that that's a really great asset for people who don't want to spend a lot of money on buying an audiobook. They can use their public library, and Libby is the app. She said that she loves books of all kinds, and maybe this is stimulating you to think about what you love to read. I just finished a book called A Gentleman in Moscow, and it was just, oh goodness, I'm so glad I read it. It made me feel like I could use the English language differently again. I mean, he uses it in such a poetic way. But of course, she mentions her favorites, Joe Nesbo Mysteries or Where the Crawdads Sing, which is a huge success right now. It's on all platforms. A Tale for the Time Being is one she recommended. And there's the classics like Atlas Shrugged, which I've actually listened to twice, I think, on audio, because it's just almost impossible to sit down with a 1,000-page book and not get discouraged, but an audiobook. And of course, the Bible is a really good one to listen to on audio tape too. There's a lot of books that you've been waiting to read through that you might want to pick up an audiobook and try it that way. So I hope this has inspired you. I'm actually getting inspired just talking about it. I think I'm going to go and grab a book, a cup of tea, and sit down and listen to the next great book. I haven't got one lined up. If you've got any suggestions, let me know. Any good books that I can get on audio, that would be fantastic. But tell us, do you use audiobooks a lot? Do you like to listen to audible.com or other audio services? What book are you reading at the moment? It's always a great question. I love to know what you're reading. So thanks everybody. Check out our website. We've got tons of books on, tons of articles on books and book reading, your favorite titles, all kinds of things that might interest you. And of course, we've got other channels on 60andMe. If you go up to 60andme.com and then /start, it will show you all the different things that we've got on our website. We've got 3 brand new sister sites to 60andMe right now, which are Learn to Simplify. It's about downsizing. Retire Different, which is about retiring, and lots of great financial and sort of lifestyle advice about retiring differently. And then also we've got She Cruises, which is a site for women who love to cruise. And we have a cruise coming up in, well, I don't know when you're watching this, but in Norway in May 2020. And we'll be planning a whole load of new trips in the new years to come. So hope that you've enjoyed this chat about audiobooks. And again, thanks so much for your support and for being here. Tell us what you're reading. Bye-bye for now.